Oh, hello. Do you think that Big Brother is watching? Or that the Illuminati are planning to take over the world? Have you had an encounter with a space alien today? If the answer to those questions is yes, then grab your hat. This is tinfoil hat time. Welcome back to tinfoil hat time. We're going to have a look today at minimalism as a means to combat excessive marketing. That is what we want to talk about on the subject matter today. So, what we're going to chat about with is, I pretty much just took a few random notes. I do not have a seriously organized show today because actually I was busy most of the day with minimalizing some things. Namely, I'm getting tax files out. I've had tax files going back to like 1993 maybe. And I've been scanning them into the computer so I can have a digital file and then cutting them down into, running everything through a paper shredder. So I'm on 2000. I think I just finished 2003 today. 2002. I think I finished 2002. So I have 2003, 2004 yet to do. So we're working on that. But we're going to talk about minimalism, what it is, and why it's important. So before we jump on to there, happy birthday to Pseudo Linux. You are now 12 years old. One more year, you shall be an unruly teenager. Greetings to Joey. Let's see. Okay, technically I was 12 last Friday. Okay, well, good enough. All right, close enough. Wow. I'm already losing place in the comment thread. Okay, do you think with the Whonex it has any potential security risk connecting to a VPS with Whonex? I've been messing around with different OPSEC for fun and have been experimenting. I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure what that might do is that might give you one more layer of security. But of course, the Whonex uses the Tor network, and the Tor uses a series of at least 3 computers through encryption. So neither computer sees what the encryption route happens to be as it's going through. So, of course, Whonex is, of course, used on cubes. The Whonex OS we looked at last week, it's also, Whonex is not used on Tails, but Tor is certainly used on Tails. And so, since Tor itself is already fairly secure, adding the VPN, it does add one more layer to it. It would certainly add one more layer of security or privacy. That's just a thought. Let's see. Any potential security risk connecting to a VPS? As far as the security risk, I don't know. I'm guessing you're saying VPN, not VPS. Or are you talking about VPS? I don't know. VPS, virtual private server, VPN, virtual private network. Which one are you talking about? Just curious there. Hello, Carbon Programmer Google. Greetings there. It's going well over here. Big story, got an Android phone, but since it was unlocked, I installed custom ROM anyway, installed a ROM without open Google apps, which resulted in Googleless Android phone. That's awesome. That's cool. Been hacking the phone right where I want the heart of Linux phones. I now regret using iOS phones for my life. Android has been a great experience without Google. Yeah, then that's the danger. The reason I don't like them generally is because there's so much Google and it's difficult to get them off, and some phones can be unlocked and other phones can't be unlocked, and that's kind of part of that challenge. Yeah, I think I'm done with iOS myself, though. Though I've been trying to install a custom host file and it works until it just resets back to nothing. I couldn't really help you with. I don't do a whole ton of that. Is there any Android-based operating system or any phone operating system that does not require a Google account to run it properly? I'm keeping an eye on some of the Linux phones because their UB ports took over the Ubuntu Touch project and they're increasing their compatible devices. KDE Mobile seems to connect. the Nexus 5 and the Nexus 5X pretty good. Although I'm still looking for information on that. It almost seems like you run KDE on top of Android. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that whole project. And of course, there's the Purism project that's trying to get an absolute pure Linux phone. It is literally Debian running GNOME on their phone. So that's something to keep an eye out. Although that one's not out yet, but it's something that's down the pipeline. You choose dirty unicorns. Just don't install open gaps, which is most people recommend. Can't even sign into Google and use Aptoid software. Okay, so there you go. Yeah, ask him the questions, I guess. Okay, I want to break away from Google's data collection on phones, but also want to have a phone just without all the data collection. You know, the solution that I'm going to do, I think, when I get my pfSense router set up, I'm going to block everything on the host file there and simply run an open VPN network into it. Basically running all data on the phone, cellular or otherwise, through my own network, and then I can block whatever I want. That might be a good option. And then also with pfSense, I can set up certain protocols, so certain devices might allow Google Ads through. So I want to enable the computers I use to watch YouTube. I want to enable the Google Ads on those just to support the content creators through the ads. But I don't necessarily want those on every device that I have because Google has this knack for tracking people. So that's kind of something to look at. Problem is companies try to prevent you from rooting phones. Yeah, actually, I ran into a problem with my friend's phone. I could not get the thing rooted, so we had to look at other options. Hey, Albert Crow, how's it going there? Let's see. Had to pay $25 to unlock an HTC with Sunshine, but once you do it, it's worth it. There you go. Oh, boy. Hey JJ Game, how's it going there? What people do not know about is the default settings for Android is by default Google collects all the words you type on keyboard. Yeah, that's kind of scary. Kind of like Windows 10 keylogger, yep. I'm already a 10th grader in high school. Cool. Glitches so much more than most features of the keyboard don't work. Just don't install open gaps. Pretty simple. All right. So you guys running Chromebooks. I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. I don't know the answer to it. Can I boot a Chromebook off of a USB drive to boot Linux into a Chromebook? Is that possible? Anybody know for sure? And if so, is it easy or is it difficult? I'm guessing, is a Chromebook an ARM processor? I don't know. Let me know if you know the answer to that question. Curious. Avoid Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. to avoid marketing research. Yep. Especially do not use Windows 10. Sudo app yet install sudo birthday cake. Nice. VPS. So I'm guessing virtual private server. That's the VPS I'm generally aware of in the web design world. Oh boy. Okay. So installing Whonix on a... Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay, could have told a lot of people about data collection from companies, but they still use services, don't care. Yep. Yes, happy Labor Day to all, Robert. I think I will be celebrating Labor Day by working. HTC Droid DNA, love HTC phones. If I were you, Tom, I'd buy a Nexus. I heard you only need one command to unlock them. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at the Nexus 5 or Nexus 5X because I'm really wanting to experiment with the KDE Mobile. I want to see more about that. I'm researching that right now. Make sure it's 4G supported and not Verizon locked. Yep. If you're not into computers or have time to look into companies, taking your 99% of people don't care, but it's very important to inform people of it. Yeah, and that's the thing is, a lot of people don't know about it, and then when you first tell them, they put on this front like, I don't have anything to hide, but eventually you get to that point where it's just like, yeah, there is a problem with all of this data collection. What is it going to take to get you to see that is the problem? Only person I know who is aware of big data collection is my 9th grade biology teacher and some other staff at the school. Yeah, and fortunately though, more people are moving into those roles that understand this stuff. Not trying to preach, but with older Blackberries is the best mix of modern phone and no tracking. Yeah. Custom ROMs are better than OEM. Twerp recovery myself. Mine comes with BusyBox and root by default. Cool. Is Chromebook Intel? Is the Chromebook Intel? I do not know. I do not know. And if my friend that has that is watching, I didn't get a text response back, so I'm not sure if he is or not. But is that Chromebook? You know who I'm talking to? Is that Chromebook an Intel base? Or if you know the model number or anything, let us know. This community here, we can solve that question we were talking about. Can we boot Linux on this thing? That's good to know. Used Crouton for ARM and sometimes Intel, but it sucks and hated it. Can you root an old BlackBerry and use on AT&T? I have no idea. Only form of communication is text messaging, phone calls, in person, and email. Can't live with. I can't live without Android. Not sure I could last with KDE Mobile, but still Android. Just hate Google, and it isn't really hard to remove it. There you go. Then that makes sense too. Makes this data collection worse is the fact they're expanding into the real world. All right, we've hit the bottom of the introductory comments. I've never actually had that many introductory comments. So we are going to go ahead and dive on in and ask that question, what is so wrong with all this data collection? So, of course, ProPublica does a lot on this topic. They've done a whole lot of research on what the big data collection does and how bad it is, et cetera, et cetera. And so the problem, and this article here specifically, of course, all these companies are collecting data. You can, buy and sell data. You can put your ads on things based on certain target demographics. One of the challenges right now is a lot of decisions being made by companies is being made itself by algorithms in the data. And this does raise new legal questions, as these guys talk about. And I didn't really want to dive into this article particularly. I was just looking for some articles to highlight how much big data gets involved. Now, where we do want to look at is looking at Facebook ran into a problem just a few months ago, almost a year ago by now. But on Facebook now, you could target your demographics so tight that it got to the point where you could literally engage in illegal marketing if you did this. So basically, Facebook collects everything they can possibly have about you. If you have not intentionally created an account, they create a shadow profile and they know who you are, and then they utilize information from the data brokers to fill in all the gaps that you choose not to tell them. So Facebook knows pretty much everything there is to know about everybody, and then now they're trying to use this as a big marketing thing. So as you scroll down here, you'll see the ways that you can detail ads. Now, if you make it too detailed, they put in a trigger there. If it's too detailed or too specific, then it will throw an error out. And so you have that ability to you can't narrow it down so narrow that you're going to get the one guy in the town who stays up until 4 a.m. playing one specific video game and likes orange sodas. Okay, if you get down to that point where you're targeting your ad to one person, Facebook itself is going to jump up and say, "Oh, this is too specific. Make it more narrow." And so the problem is that when you have this ability to select by the ethnicity, and you are pushing ads, for example, where they came into some problem is pushing some ads from HUD, which cannot discriminate based upon any of these factors. And when you start having a product that pushes towards a certain demographic, now it raises more legal questions. Is this a legal question or not? And of course, we covered the article and we went off on this for quite a while on Friday, looking at how the gambling industry is targeting poor people and former gamblers. Basically, they're trying to say, okay, I have struggled with a gambling addiction. Okay, I finally get to the point I need help. I go into my 12 steps. I get my gambling 12 steps stuff there, and and now I'm like, okay, I'm now free. I'm doing everything I can to get off of gambling, and every single time I go onto YouTube, onto Facebook, onto any random site on the internet, I'm getting pushed with ads to engage in online gambling again. Why? Because to power that addiction is absolutely powerful for a company. A company that can get you addicted to a product is a company that has a customer for life. This is what happened with the tobacco industry. So if you actually look back and look for some of the congressional records when people were asking about, is nicotine addictive? You will literally see the panel of all of the guys in all of the top tobacco companies going, I believe nicotine is not addictive. I believe cigarettes are not addictive. I believe our products are not addictive. It's like the biggest ball of baloney you'd ever encounter in your life. Okay, the thing is, though, is that the exact same thing happens in the sugar industry with all of the sugar and all the processed food. So you get the same thing going down the pipeline. So what's going on is you get somebody addicted to a product like a Twinkie or gambling or a cigarette or alcohol, and you have them hooked for life. The problem is when a person decides they want to get off of the addiction. They want to stop gambling. They want to stop smoking. They want to stop eating cookies every day. They want to stop all of this stuff. What can end up starting to happen is you can't get away in this new world. You can't get away. And that is the tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day. The company wants to target the person to extract every bit of money that they possibly can, repeat customers, subscription services, buying the alcohol, buying the cigarettes, buying the gambling. That is their purpose, because we are not in a capitalistic society anymore. Capitalism has a degree of morality. Okay? Now, if you go into a bar, which I don't think I've been into one in a long time. I really don't drink at all. Actually, I don't drink at all. But there are people that I know that will visit bars, and so I don't have a problem going in there if I'm visiting somebody. Actually, my father comes to mind. If I want to visit my father, I actually visit him at his bar. Oh, well. So, you go in there, and then what's going on is you want to get off of this problem. You want to get off of this thing. You know, I'm sorry. I got off on this bar thing because I want to say something specific. It is illegal here in the States for a bar to serve you alcohol if you already appear drunk. Okay? Not because they want to do the best for you, but they want to CYB, cover their bases, right? Or basically, they don't want a person to leave your bar so drunk that they could go back and somebody could attempt to sue that bar. That's the challenge. Okay? But the problem is that the good person, the moral salesperson, the moral business person has a root of morality where they can see what is best and what is not best for a person. So I was sharing this story a while back about a friend of mine was seeking advice on this bank. And so he's trying to save up money for this big trip. And so he goes into and he's talking to the banker. The banker says, oh, you should go in and you should get this money market account. It's the highest interest rate in town. So the problem is that guy knows exactly how much money this person has on hand. He should know what is called a break-even point. And a moral banker has a list to say, if you have over this amount of money, it's worth it. Because the amount of money that you have, either A, doesn't trigger the fee, or B, the interest is higher than the fee. But in this person's case, the amount of money he had was way under that threshold, and he could have paid $15 a month for the opportunity to make $1 a month in interest at the highest interest rates. That banker was an immoral banker. He was immoral. He was trying to get a commission off of a young person to sell a money market account, even though he had all the information in front of him that would be detrimental to the kid, because the amount of money he had did not exceed the breaking even point. That is the problem what we have. And when I cannot say, no, do not track my data, we are in a dangerous society, because the company now can titillate every desire that we have, just looking for what it takes to get us to buy. That is the problem. So let's go ahead and have a look at our comments, and then we will jump back over into here, because we got a lot of comments showed up. All right. Stores get data on the points on your on your points, the nodal points on your face, to create biographical profiles of you. Yeah, actually, and the biggest stores right now experimenting with this right now is actually your grocery stores, where they're actually tracking not just who you are, but your facial expressions as you scan things inside those glass. So the new high-tech glass will have camera information embedded. And they can scan your eyes. They can see what you're looking at and see your facial expressions, and that will help them to sell more food. What do you put where to move their eye to the direction you need? Oh, hi, Anarita. How's it going there? Stores collect data on what you purchase and sell to marketers. Yes, and this is why I use cash and I don't use Shoppers Club cards, because they don't really know who I am at that point in time, and that's the way to go. ROM, if you want to start something simple, looks like Lineage OS. If you want a lot of tweaking, look at Dirty Unicorns ROM. All right. Greetings there, Fatal. How's it going? All right. So there was a form of malware developed by marketers that uses high-frequency waves to collect information from the electronics. The vector is for the malware. Yes. Yeah, if you don't know what he's talking about there was, and it wasn't even really defined as malware. It was ad tracking software. So what would happen is everyone has these phones now. So they would have a TV or a device, and they would play some type of sound inaudible to the person, but the phone could pick it up. And if you tied the app that you were using to that low audio noise phone, the app could go in the background, hunt it down, and it would measure the exposure somebody had to a given ad based upon an inaudible sound frequency. Okay, that's creepy, people. That's creepy. Creepy. Hey, Joe, how's it going there? Watch out for any lightning strikes with that hat on. Yeah, you know. 66 head. If you have not watched The Great Outdoors, you probably didn't get that. But if you have watched The Great Outdoors, you could. Love those fake gambling ads. Yep. Only have one addiction, and that is to watch Tinfoil Hat Time. Woohoo, I'm addiction. All right. This Roger back there approves. All right. When I move to a new home after I have enough money from my dream job, software engineering, I will never buy a television. Yeah, actually, getting a big computer monitor is better. No tracking at all under most of them anyway. And fun added bonus. Add a Raspberry Pi to that bad boy. Tom, if I were you, I wouldn't use KDE Mobile. It's really buggy. It's all right. I'm just looking for something to play with. And I'll use AdBlock and Ghost to block advertisers and trackers. Yep. I own a TV, but not cable TV anymore. Though I watch TV shows, but I have a limit. I only watch 12 of them. It's been a blessing, right? Yeah, and I have a dumb TV. That's what I like. I will not buy a smart TV. I don't even care if I don't hook that thing up. I will not buy a smart TV. Not a chance. Malware I mentioned above takes effect during commercials. Yes. The commercial plays the audible ad, and a device can pick it up. So it can measure the... Actually, yeah, smart TVs have it too. The smart TVs and phones and stuff will have access to that information. Take your old TV and move electronic towards TV antenna. Nothing is on it. Here and sizzling start to... Okay. Whoa. AdBlock Plus add-on. I actually, when I used ad blockers, that's the one I would use. Of course, one of the things is the company behind that even started collecting data, and they have safe ads there. Yeah. Sorry, Austin, you can get banned. Block. Remove. Sorry, y'all. Just saw that one. Yeah, he was kicked. Sorry, I didn't catch that earlier. Yeah, I should probably find a dedicated mod or so to watch that for me when I'm not watching it. All right, I've even seen cameras at the sections of the store that contain alcoholic beverages. Yeah. Forgot to mention that all those decisions are also being made by algorithms, and there's probably only a handful of individuals who probably don't even work for those corporations. Yeah, and that's true. It's like it's hard for an individual person to actually grab the data we're talking about, although it is theoretically possible. And with a lot of this data, even the anonymized data is still very easy to figure out who's who. And you're right that a lot of these things were. It's just algorithms feeding the various things, but still the problem is the fact that we are in an algorithm and we can be fed things based on a variety of demographics. That in and of itself is scary enough. Whether an individual human knows that or not is a difference. Drink alcohol, never will, but they must be doing marketing research. Absolutely. Alcohol is stupid. Absolutely. I just don't see a reason to drink alcohol these days, because, it's, if I want a social drink, I'll drink a Coke, which I drink about as much of that, really. No, actually, I have a can of Coke or something once every 2 or 3 months. It's pretty gross when I do, but named it Peanut and okay. There's a cat that lives outside and follows me everywhere. I've named it Peanut, now it responds. Cool. Free alcohol is better suited for medicinal purposes than a beverage. Yep. Who's Hulu, but why does it need my location on my phone? It's to track you. Got a problem with my network, blocking all my tendering. Any way of circumventing this? Funny, mainly YouTube is the biggest problem. What is it? Blocking my tendering. Yeah, I don't know. What is the network? Are you on, what's the issue? Give us more details. Reason for bringing up the alcohol is because I know how popular alcohol is as a beverage and the amount of advertising there is for it. Absolutely. Could be a mod. Never mind. Find someone trusted. I probably could mod about everybody in the Linux channel that I know. Unfortunately, there's a risk at showing the chat. As long as you're reading the questions, you should not show it to keep the trolls out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, I just kind of I like having a chat there so people can see what's going on. And, Coke is not good to be drinking. No, it's not. Generally, if I've wanted to make a soda, I actually make my own. But yeah, and I'll have a Coke if I go to my cousin's house or something because he has either sucralose flavored water or Coke, and sucralose does not do good for my system. And so if that's my choices, I'll just do a Coke over there, but not more than one or two. Hey, Tech Bismo, or shall we say Techno Bismol. 2, do not drink or smoke, which saves a lot of money and health. Absolutely. Off topic, but what do you think will happen when we actually reach real AI? I'm thinking Terminator scenario is the most likely, or RoboCop scenario is most likely. That's my thought. Very bad. Do you pass that line? Do you think it will change within the internet? I haven't put a ton of thought into all that, but I'll tell you, it's going to be creepy. Most liquids I ingest are sodas. Ooh, I'm sorry. Oh, tethering. Okay, so tethering is blocking your networks. I know if you... by the way, if you're tethering to a Verizon or something, Verizon now limits... they limit the any video to 720p at the highest. So any video you're doing through the Verizon network is going to be limited to 720p. Diet Coke is worse because of the aspartame. Yeah, we used to call it, we called it diabetes, brain tumors, cancer, and we got to come up with one for sucralose. Sucralose is one of the safest of the sugar substitutes. It's still not good, but it is one of the safer of the sugar substitutes. Followed by saccharin, which was the one that used to actually say may cause cancer in laboratory rats. That was actually a very faulty study. So saccharin's actually not all that bad. The ones that are worse for you are your aspartame, because there is in many people there is a free methyl group off the side of the. It's basically aspartame is 2 amino acids inverted. but one of them has a methyl group off the side, which can be cleaved off, and that produces methanol in the system. That causes blindness. Now, if you have that disease, you probably know it already, but aspartame is not all that good. Cellular network is blocking my tethering. Yeah, it sounds like that's probably the case. Don't drink, it tastes nasty. How would you know? Oh, don't drink Techno-Bismol. Okay, it tastes nasty. If you're AI, then you must be some sketchy sort of human. If AI is a real threat, you don't think they would target only certain individuals to eliminate? Well, yeah, and that's the problem, is I think the AI will target certain individuals. It will clean out the people that society does not want, the undesirables, absolutely. In small amounts of alcohol like wine is beneficial to one small glass today. Yeah, I mean, one small glass of wine a day of alcohol is not all that bad, but, you know. I mostly drink water. Yep. Why not stream this? That's why the stream is in crispy 720. Yep. Tried out Ubuntu Mate. Love it. Awesome. Yeah, Ubuntu Mate is pretty cool. I spent most of my day on Ubuntu Mate as I was working on minimizing things. So Disaster Pant Soda. Can't even show 144p, 16 cups of water a day. Aspartame contains methanol. No, it does not contain methanol. It is, some people will have a enzyme expressed that will cleave off a methyl group, which will produce methanol in your system. Bet off drinking tea. Osme tea. Seems like you're into chemistry and biological sciences. My PhD is actually in molecular toxicology. So, yeah. Let's see. Drink some soda, mostly water. Yep, water's good. People say real AI would not change jobs, but if you really think about how many jobs AI could take over, the only real jobs that AI might not take over is creative chat show podcasts. Now I know why they change the place of things when I go to the grocery store. Yes, actually, grocery stores are very notorious for always changing things around so you can never figure out where something is in the store. It makes you wander through the store longer. Grocery stores are the absolute world's best marketers. They are the best marketers. Getting a little distracted, you should focus on the video. I don't think AI will take over trade jobs. All right, bottom to those comments. So, part 2. We're going to have to do part 1s and part 2s on these. Part 2, how does minimalism help with the marketing? That's kind of what we want to talk about. The thing is that these ads are everywhere. The data collection is everywhere. All this stuff is everywhere. What does minimalism do as a philosophy? Well, as a philosophy, minimalism means that I'm going to evaluate everything that I need, and I'm only going to utilize those things that I need. Period. That's all I'm going to do. All right. Now, what that means is that I'm not perpetually looking for another thing to buy. In fact, as I've converted more of my life over to minimalism, I buy so many fewer things because I look at this and go, do I really need this? Do I really need that? What is the thing that I want to accomplish? And is there a better way to achieve it? And so one of the ways that minimalism helps is, number one, is I have no desire for any weird devices, all right? No desire to sit here and go, I want a new juicer that can squeeze juices out of packets, and I need a new smart microwave and smart water boiling system. It reduces a lot of the need for that. Further, a minimalist, a true minimalist, like even a digital minimalist, and I'll go there a little bit, is that I want to use as few things as possible. This is that question in the Linux phone market. The thing in the Linux phone market they're trying to address is, can we have a phone that has the appropriate apps? And there's kind of two camps. Myself and probably Brian Lunduke is like, I would like a smartphone that I can call, I can text, and I can check my email, and I can check my internet. If that is all this smartphone can do, I'm golden. I don't want extra apps. I don't want a lot of things on here. Now, of course, you can add the you can add music things to it, and all the phone protocols I saw have music, so I can add my music to it. But as far as other apps are concerned, I don't really need other apps. I just need my phone to be able to access the internet, view the emails while I'm on the road. Actually, tethering to my device would be a fun feature to have, so I can, share the internet across my mobile platform easier. That is the type of stuff I want to do. And if I have fewer apps on the phone, I'm getting fewer advertisements being fed to me. I'm having a lot less ability to have things pushed right at me. Therefore, I am seeing less advertisements. I'm being titillated less to buy things. And I'm going to spend less money on the things that I do not really need. So the minimalist is going to question first, what are the things that we have? And we're going to say, we don't need all this extra stuff. In fact, there is a fascinating scripture in the Bible, store up your treasure where the thieves do not break in and steal, and where the moth does not eat, and I will add where the mold does not corrode. And I came to this thought today because I get up early in the morning and I'm getting ready to go to church, and I go in there. I'm going to wear a white on black montage. I go in, grab my black shirt. The black shirt in my closet has mold on it. Go to my other black shirt, mold on it. Well, apparently there was something leaked in the apartment above mine, and there's now water inside that closet, and pretty much everything in there is molding. So guess what I get to do tomorrow? Yay! Clean a closet to get some mold out of it, and hopefully do something about the mold issue, and then see if I can figure out what's going on upstairs. Why am I getting moisture and water inside that specific spot in that closet? But the thing is that the more stuff that you have, the greater chance somebody's going to break in and steal it. The greater chance a moth is going to eat it, or mildew's going to take it, or it's going to rust away or rot away. All of those are fascinating things to keep in mind. Why do we as a society keep on buying more and more and more things that we do not really need in the long run? And that's a fascinating question. So it's better to not have all the things around us which are constantly titillating us. Because as you are a minimalist, you have fewer things and fewer desires. And first, you have that desire to sit down and go, I don't know, we're going to see what we can do here. But you're not pushed to always want to buy things. And then it becomes this habit, becoming a minimalist, that you're now in the habit of reducing the amount of things. And so you're never in the mode to go out and buy more stuff. And that is the beautiful thing about minimalism, is that you're not taken in with the ability to sit here and always be affected by the things that are around us. All right, so let's go ahead and check in on comments again. If you have AI advanced robots, that covers 90% of jobs. Yep. Need to spoof my IP address. Tried spoofing the MAC address. Didn't help. Huh. Minimalism came about as a response to consumerism. It's the boycotting light. Correct. In fact, consumerism is where it was. It was actually minimalism first made its appearance in a response to the 80s marketing boom, which is, yes, consumerism. The first book I have ever seen on that topic was from the 80s, and it was called 101 Ways to Simplify Your Life by, I think it's like Elaine St. Jude or something. I forget her name, or Saint something. But the book is called 101 Ways to Minimize Your Life. 101 Ways to Simplify Your Life. See if I can actually find it. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. It's an old book. Ah, there we are. There's a copy of it. Pull this up real quick. All right, so here is a copy of that book. So this one here actually gets down to the heart. It basically has 101 little simple chapters about, giving you a lot of fascinating ways. Like if you have a lot of things in your house, and you're like, ew, what if I need it? The best tip they have in there is throw all that stuff into a bin, put a date on it, and put it back in the closet. If you have not been in that bin within 3 months or 6 months or a year, throw the bin out. Don't even open it, just throw it out. You will not miss what's in there. I promise. Oh, boy. I'd like a smartphone I have full control of instead of a corporation. Yes. I have music and stuff too, but only have one game, Flappy Birds. That is the only one I have nothing to do and no one to talk to all the time. So, okay. Minimalism is what I've been doing for years, and it saves me time, money, attention, and just makes me less stressed because you have clutter-free mind. And that is the heart of minimalism. That is the absolute heart of minimalism, is that it saves you time because you don't have a lot of stuff to clean. You don't have a lot of stuff to fix. You don't have a lot of stuff, just a lot of stuff in your way. It saves you money because you're not buying and buying and buying and buying more stuff. It saves you attention because your focus is only on the important things that are right around you. All of that stuff and all of that lends itself to less stress. Dirty Unicorn says Dirty Tweaks option to disable ads by host file, but since my ROM is unsupported, I'm sure that more services will show up. Shirt shopping, yep. Apple went after jailbreakers and said that people who do not want their phones in control of corporations are drug dealers, terrorists, or just outright criminals in general. Yeah, fortunately they tried to fight it, but it is still legal to jailbreak your phone. But yeah, they don't like it, and it ends up being Chinese hackers you usually have to pay to unlock your phone. What book is that in the Bible? Oh, from the verse, it is off the top of my head, I don't remember, but let me grab it real quick. Matthew 16:19. In Matthew 16:19, do not store for yourselves treasure on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal. Probably also referenced in, possibly also in Mark and or Luke as well, being as it's the Synoptic Gospels, but that is where it is from Matthew, chapter 6, verse 19 through 21. Okay, Brian Lunduka is going through the same stage as me, but is very behind. It's mostly like to slap stuff on my phone. No, actually, I think you're a little bit behind him, I have to say. But, all right, we can debate that. Friends have always the latest tech, then complain about not having much money, which I answer, why do you need to have the latest of things? Just be happy with what you have for years. Absolutely. That's why I have an iPhone SE, because I don't need the latest. In fact, I won't buy the latest. This time I jailbreak my iPhone was to change the theme and other themes. Yeah. One game, that's all. Only one distraction is Hulu, but that's when I'm not at my computer. Try to tell people that you don't need so many supplies for school on average. I believe parents spend $300 on school supplies. Yeah, and that's a lot. Microsoft really tried to go after people who want their computers without Windows and called computers without Windows naked PCs. They claim that people who don't want Windows pre-installed are pirates. Yes, like the dread Pirate Roberts. It did not take my link. Try that. Okay, whatever. It is not wanting to input my Amazon link into chat. Oh well, even I can't add a link. Okay. I have a lot of computers and phone parts in my room holding up my ceiling pretty much. Yep. Definitely not a minimalist, yeah. Schools have become the soup Nazi, huh? The soup Nazi. What's the soup Nazi? Okay, I use Linux. That does not mean I'm the mafia or the mobster or a criminal in general. Yep. If you couldn't touch another computer, what would you do with your spare time? You know, live. Hike, write on paper pads. What do I do with my spare time? I don't know. That's a fascinating question. I think I'd write on paper notepads and give it to somebody else to type on. You quoting from the Bible the same as Buddha's philosophy. Do not clutter yourself with things you do not need. Indeed, indeed. If you have a reference for that, we'd feel free to put that in there too. Love using Android like Linux computer. It's just a terminal with my fingerprints. Not 101 Ways to Leave Your Lover. No, that would be a Paul Simon song. You thought out... recently threw out some parallel cables. Wow. Phone's about to die. Be back soon. All right. See you later, JJ Game. I remember reading an article and the journalist said, if my son can jailbreak a phone, so can jihadists. Yeah, so? It's a jailbroken phone. Oh my God. Apple can't perpetually spy on me. I can do stuff I want to do. Have you heard of the Minimalist podcast? Yes, I have heard of the podcast. That is a pretty cool podcast too. It was two, I believe they Comcast execs, like almost execs, higher management, and just basically their whole lives got so cluttered they one day just decided to get rid of everything, and then they end up writing their book on minimalism by renting a cabin in the middle of Montana winter and pretty much had nothing to do except write. It was kind of neat. He has a computer and he already has all of that. Okay. Go outside to the park. Yes, it's 2017, but I still do that. Sorry, cool kids. Use Linux and have been happier with it. Yep. Oh, Soup Nazi from a Seinfeld episode. I have no idea. I'm not sure I've ever watched a full episode of Seinfeld. Let's see. I mean, at least know what it is, but that's about it. So, that's kind of it. So, what are your steps for it? Now, I have this little red book with me. I keep on my note for on my desk for notes, and I have a 4-part book listed down, like the full summary of a 4-part book that I want to write on simplicity and minimalistic living when I get the chance. Wrote it down so I have all of the tips, and I'll slowly refine it. But let me just briefly explain some of the things that I do in my life that would actually make its way in that book. First, reduce your shopping down to the very bare minimums. And a lot of people are like, well, I have kids, I can't do this. No, stop with your excuses. First, stop buying processed food. It just kills you. It makes you hungrier. And although it's cheaper, it does cost you more in the long run. So you want to do your grocery shopping generally around the outer edges of a grocery store with real food, not processed food. But what you do is you keep a canvas bag in your car. So my canvas bags stay in my car, and I have just a couple of them. Go to the grocery store, fill up your canvas bags, and that's what you need. Pay cash, of course. You go home, and then when you empty your canvas bags, you hang your canvas bag on your doorknob. So the next time you leave your house, they're in your way to grab them and toss them in the backseat of the car. Okay, so you do things like that. This is a neat one. Does your bathroom have 4 light bulbs in it like mine? You have the vanity with 4 whole light bulbs at the top. I looked at these light bulbs. They're like 40 watts each. That's 160 watts. So I went through and unscrewed half of those. It drops my light bill quite a bit. Simply unscrewing 2 of the 4 light bulbs in there. Now I'm running half as much power in the bathroom. And you can do that in other places where you have multiple different lights. Of course, I have this massive studio lamp over here that certainly is not a minimalistic light, but, it only runs when I'm recording video. As far as other things are concerned, let me actually just kind of flip through my planned list here. Yeah, actually, I talk in here about avoiding the marketers and the advertising, things like that. Reducing utilities, for me, getting rid of the coffee pot in the house actually saved me about $10 a month in electricity. Coffee pot runs an average of 900 watts, and the average coffee pot's on for several hours. So that's kind of cool. Making your food from scratch is quite cheap. Clear out excessive appliances. If an appliance does not have more than one purpose for it, get rid of it. It's too narrow, like a bread machine. Although, arguably, you can make bread crust with it. But in reality, it doesn't take a lot more time to make bread without a bread machine than it does with a bread machine. So keep that in mind. Eliminate all of those types of things that are not multifunctional. And then we have to consider this. These are some other things to keep in mind. First, sentimental and knick-knack items. Keep your sentimental items down to one small bin if you have to have them at all. Knick-knacks, they're useless. They cost money. They are merely decoration. They serve no purpose other than looking interesting on a shelf. Now, of course, not all knick-knacks are totally useless. Obviously, I have a nice, hourglass here, nice purple sand hourglass, which is nice. I got some Rubik's Cubes, a few other little odds and ends up there. But actually, I did get rid of a lot of the things that I have. A lot of that's shelf decoration back there. Look in your medicine cabinets. Clear out your old medicines. That's a big thing you should be doing anyway. Get rid of any old medicines you don't need in there. Look at your movies, games, and music collections frequently. Get rid of things you don't need. And another thing that you can do is you can get a case by which you can get rid of all the big plastic CD cases, eliminate things and cut it all down to just what'll fit inside of a couple of CD cases. So that's a good thing to do. And then consider, do you like reading on paper or are e-readers okay? Of course, I'm not a big fan of the Kindle with the DRM. But I have a very nice system set up with Calibri with a Calibri server running in my office, which is a really cool thing. And then the next thing you really need to do is get your finances under control. Cut up your credit cards. You don't need credit cards. Live on a budget and pay with cash. You will spend a lot less money if you do that. And so that is kind of some of the tips that I have on simplistic living. If you do a lot of these things, you will reduce the amount of space advertisers have access to. Of course, other things I didn't mention, never sign up your email onto anybody's email lists. Once you get on a one guy's list, they're going to buy it and sell it left and right and center, and your inbox is constantly going to be full of coupons and ads and all this stuff. It all just kind of pushes you to make money. All right, or to spend your money. All right, so let's go ahead and look at a final look at comments here. Linux is the operating system of freedom and liberty. Absolutely. Unix is the operating system of simplicity. Installed LFS lately. LFS. What is LFS? I don't know. So you get on a keto diet, your life will change and you'll save a ton of cash on food. Absolutely. I'm not a total keto diet guy, but I would definitely, if you're looking to get rid of fat, run a keto diet. It is one of the best fat-cutting diets, which is consequently pretty much eating exclusively fats and proteins. You want to cut out essentially all of your carbs on a keto diet, but it will absolutely do some fabulous things in your diet. I make wraps, I make wraps and tortillas, things like that. So I do those. So, those are going to be, kick you off of keto. And I do like making my own ice cream, things like that. So, but yeah, if you definitely need to lose some weight, definitely try a keto diet. Seems Apple and Microsoft are afraid of freedom and liberty for users of technology. They're targeting Linux users or jailbreakers. Yep. I need 4 light bulbs. Well, I'll unscrew 2 of those. I have 6 light bulbs. They are smaller and lower wattage. Still, if you still unscrew 3 of those 6 light bulbs, you will find yourself just as adjusted to the amount of light in there, and you will save half of your power. Doesn't matter how low if they are. Glint off my tinfoil hat so nicely. Yep, no. A socialist, communist, authoritarian, totalitarian, or corporate would be afraid of freedom. Yep. Absolutely. Another good thing to mention is money management. The amount of people that are in debt now is crazy. And it's so easy and tempting to get loans and other stuff. Yeah, the marketing and loans is crazy. And I want to say it's September 27th. If you're in the State College region, the Center County region, Pennsylvania, we are launching our Financial Peace University class. If you need to get that in order, if you're not in this region, check out that class. If you need to get your finances in order, it's pretty good. Now, I always have the lights turned off and only have one lamp on in the room we are in. Plus, we disconnect the surge power at the end of the day. Yep, absolutely. I don't keep any. This is a neat statistic. 20% of your electricity is spent in what is called ghost power. Ghost power is merely keeping your stuff plugged in. If you simply unplug the stuff you're not using right now, you will save 20% of the power that you have. Now, there's some things that I don't always do that. Like I don't come in necessarily and turn off all of my, my power strips for my computers. Mostly because I have my switches on one power strip and my modem and router is on, no, what is it? My modem and one of my network switches is on one power strip and my router is on the other. And if I can condense that down, I could at least turn one of them off. But unplugging things you don't need right now, like I don't keep my, I have run an electric kettle for making my coffee in my French press. That does not stay plugged in. I don't keep my any devices I have plugged in. I just don't keep things like that plugged in. Because it just takes too much power to keep them plugged in, even if they're not being turned on. I don't pay bills, but I still love helping my mom reduce electricity use. Absolutely, that's cool. That's a good thing to do. Other ideas: buy a digital picture frame and buy an e-reader. Yeah, I use one of my Android tablets as my e-reader effectively. Which works pretty good for me. Digital picture frame, I haven't done digital picture frames before, but I kind of stopped hanging things on walls. So, credit cards only drag you into debt. Yes, they do. Problem with not buying on credit is when you need to purchase a home, for example, you can be denied if there's no credit history. My wife's a realtor and had a client experience that. No, you need to go to a real bank that does manual underwriting. Manual underwriting means that they're not just going to run your thing through a credit score and pass-fail based upon your number on a credit score that is nebulous at best. What you need to do is do a bank system that does manual overriding, or manual underwriting is what it's called. And what they're going to do is they're going to look at your assets, they're going to look at your repayment histories, they're going to look at your utilities, and then what you do is you call the utility company and you have them send you a statement of billing. And that's actually exactly what I did when I bought my house. I just had the various utilities send me statements that said, yeah, I've never missed a payment. I did manual underwriting and that worked, For iMessage alternatives, Telegram, extremely fast and secure and safe. Shouldn't the Moto E have 1080p display? I was told by something you can only change the resolution of the display if you root your device. I have no idea. Usually the resolution is kind of locked into the hardware, but I could be wrong on that. Using cash keeps you from falling into debt. Yes. My wife makes homemade sausage. Sweet. Fuse 4 protons into helium nucleus to generate my electricity. Sweet! Nice fission going on there. I guess that's fusion, isn't it? Oh, I don't need marketers to know what I'm buying. Absolutely. Hey, if that French press doesn't do more than one thing, you need to get rid of it. No, it makes coffee, and coffee. Just an FYI. But, I mean, yeah, if I get super radical, yeah, I could probably get rid of the French press too. But, yeah, good call. But, yeah, I mean, it does that. And I've even thought, should I, there was a period of time, actually, I didn't drink coffee either. I didn't drink soda, coffee. I didn't drink anything but water. There was a period of time. And I at times wonder, should I go back to that? I don't know. EBH, we all need life hack, but most life hacks spy. That is why I like Android without Google, perhaps to sync photos like the cat. Simply plug it in and drag it in. KDE Connect is also useful. Yes. KDE Connect is pretty cool. The average American is thousands of dollars in debt. Yeah, I think it's $8,000 just in credit card debt. The average amount of student loans that a student gets if they finish college is $35,000 right now, I believe. The average car, I forget what the actual balance is, but the average car payment is 400 and... No, it's not. It was higher than that. We looked it up. Last time I looked at it was last year when we were teaching FPU. I want to say it's like $500 right now for the average car payment. And I guess if it's $500, nah, I'm not going to try and do the math on that one. I want to end up my life in the majority who are in debt. Absolutely. You can have the digital picture frame on a table or your bookshelf. Be sure you hang it on a wall, but that's a choice. Yep. I'd rather wait until I have the cash than use a credit card and rack up debt. Yep, and that's why if you missed the show on Friday, I was talking about the with Amazon, you can now get it. Now, Amazon is kind of that double-edged sword. They do a lot of data collection as well, but it is now possible in my town and possibly your town to buy with cash, ship to a pickup location and pick it up. That's kind of cool. And even if you can't ship to a pickup location, you can still buy on Amazon with cash. Because the gift cards are now reloadable, and so you can add the gift card in. They will send you a barcode, actually. So you'll get a barcode. Let me see if I can find mine real quick in my email. All I did is actually I just got it and emailed it to me. Did I delete it? Yeah, I might have deleted it off my phone already. But anyway, you can get your barcode, and with the barcode, then I can just go into one of several different stores in the region, drop cash right on that, and then place the order through Amazon using my gift card. So that's kind of what we're doing. So even now, you can order things online with cash, which is cool. Now, is it extra steps? Absolutely, but the extra steps gives you that extra layer of accountability. It removes that impulse buying. It removes the ability to buy something without thinking about it. This is why I hate the one-click buy and the dash buttons from Amazon. Mac and cheese! You know? And that's a challenge. It's okay, Kitty. Yeah, it's okay. Go back to sleep. So far and few, and loan ultimately winds up on the underwriters. Well, the thing is, though, is that it's doable. You do not want to go out and get yourself into debt so you have a credit score. And you simply need to shop around until you find one. Otherwise, you end up with a Wells Fargo where they might very well just give you an account while you're at it. Also, what you just explained may vary by state. It would be interesting to look at here, though. Yeah. French press coffee is my BFF along with my toast. Yep. A kettle will not drain power if it is not on. It can actually. Because there is a small residual amount of electricity in anything that is plugged in, it can actually consume a little bit of power. Now, a lot of what you see going in are things like the little power on buttons on your devices and the fact that they always have to be running in a lower level in the background, especially a device that happens to have like a remote control. All of those things, yes, they will consume power if they're plugged in. It's not a lot. It's almost negligible. But if you think about how frequently you use them, like I use my electric kettle a grand total of 3 minutes a day, maybe 6 minutes if I do an extra pot of coffee. Okay, but that amount of time, 3 minutes, is a completely insignificant amount of time to the 24 hours it would stay perpetually plugged in. Not to mention the fact that anything that's plugged in is an extra small layer of potential fire hazard. So keep that in mind. So you'd want to look up ghost power, by the way. Look up what ghost power is. Marketers seem to have a problem with people paying cash because they cannot collect their data. Yep. Poor marketers. Tom, where's the kitty? I got to move the kitty cam, but let's see if I can get the kitty on the kitty cam here. Okay, let me see if that'll work. Okay, well, there's a little wire in the way. I'll get that wire out of the way. It's a kitty! That wire does not want to stay out of the way. There we go. Whatever. The wire's going to be there. Deal with it. I'm focusing on making my life easier, but that requires some money. Not as much. And once you get it easier, it's better. Like what I've been doing a lot right now is all of my digital stuff. I've pointed out one operating system that has all the digital stuff, and then that's going to get an extra, an extra couple backups on that type of data. And that's going to make things a whole lot easier in the long run, even though it takes more time to set it up now. So loans are the worst. You can't even file bankruptcy to escape them. No, you can file death. That's about it. As long as they're not Parent Plus loans. Parent Plus loans, yeah, not even death saves you. Still being tracked with the barcode. Definitely need scholarships to escape student loans. Yep, there's actually a book out there called Debt Free You, which will teach about how to get scholarships for paying full time. I've never read it, but I've heard about it. Still being tracked with the barcode, and you gave your email. Yeah, well, on Amazon, that's true, but I could actually very possibly have, like, for example, my email account was set up so long ago, they don't have a lot of that type of information, but, they keep insisting on wanting it, so, I keep on saying no. I think I need a competitive school that has a good reputation. I have a higher chance of getting scholarships and acceptance. Pay off my credit cards every month. I still get good credit score, and even though it's not as high as it would be if I had more types of debt. But the problem is that eventually you get to the point where you miss something, or something else occurs. It's just generally better not to play with snakes. But if that's the way that works for you, then at least you have your money under control. So yes, all appliances have a transformer will use power. Yep. Might donate leftover to you and DuckDuckGo and maybe a Linux Foundation for great work. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. But, you're as young as you are. I'd encourage you to save your money right now, buddy. All right? Save some money. You may need it in the future. You can you help me out by watching my videos, because that will throw more ads out there. School is a competition to succeed, and student loans are the consequence of the loss of competition. Yeah, there's a lot of craziness. All right, folks, I think that gets us to the end of the comment thread, so I think we're going to go ahead and feed up some kitties, and then we're going to close this guy up. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux, and once again, I think there should be Patreon links and Amazon links down below for those that are interested. Yeah, Mark, sorry you're super late. I'm heading out with the kitty now. Oh, no, oh there. Oh, for that. Ooh. Yeah. All right, folks, have yourself a good one.